we got a special guest. Come on in. This is we're this is not being edited. This is live and in person. Someone's in trouble.
You just never know. Hey, folks, it's been nice knowing you. I already have my box packed.
This is we have obviously either done something right or done something extremely
wrong.
But yes, sir. How are you?
I just want to see what the fun was.
Go ahead. Yeah, have a seat.
Have a seat. All you do is sit here and laugh.
That's
talk about anything.
That's the whole point. I mean, that's the point of the podcast. There's no content. We put all these notes down, and then we just never read them.
That's good.
So here you are joining us. By the way, it's Danny Wilson. You guys here? We talk about him all the time. I don't know. It's either a good thing or a bad thing. It's which one is it? Oh, okay. We
no,
should cut the camera.
On me. I'm worried about it. I'm worried about me. What are you saying? I don't get to edit anything they say, so I have to be careful what I do because it's going to be said.
That's what we talk about here on Midwest Mayhem. We want to be live. We don't want to script anything. So it's kind of neat that you come in. So here's the cool thing. Since I have you here, I might as well just kind of prime your brain, right?
Okay.
So we sit in here. We talk about Toyota's upcoming products. I mean, how excited as a dealer are you about what's coming from Toyota?
So crazy that you say that. Last night, just got back from the New York Auto Show.
Ooh,
which was just fun. So New York Auto Show, probably the premier auto show in America. Detroit's a pretty big deal, but fan favorites in New York because it's New York City, right? They own the New York Auto Show. I mean, if you saw how much real estate that they have in the New York Auto Show, you're like, oh, it's a Toyota show, and they bring some other cars around. So it's really cool, the Toyota's commitment to just product, because they want to show it off. They want to know what's going on. A lot of other manufacturers are just, they're looking for the niches. They're looking for the small areas that they can play in. They want to be something. Toyota realizes, and they're in a situation where they can almost be something for everybody, and they probably are. And they're embracing that. So it's really fun to be able to go see just all the stuff. And they're also, in a way, they want to show to the masses all the product they have. And in New York City, it's awfully, you don't roll into a dealership and just check out a car or something like that. So the auto show is a good place to be for them. But the process of how they roll their products out is different now. I mean, they have a lot of local flair, a lot of people who are involved in the blogging. The locations are a little more, depending on what they're launching, whether it be a new truck or a GR Corolla, or whereas they're going to be specific to an area to do it. So it's been cool. I mean, the product's unbelievable.
Yeah.
I have the opportunity to be on a product board that talks about what's coming, what we're working on, what they're working on. They keep the dealers in the middle of things. So that starts next 2 weeks for me. I get to be down there in my first meeting with that. But the Corolla, they won all kinds of awards for the GR Corolla. And we know what that is, even though we can't see a lot of them. But that GR Corolla won, even out of New York, they had a bunch of presentations, and they're winning from marketing standpoints to just what the product is. 3 cylinders, 300 horsepower. You talk to anybody about it, and they're like trying to figure that out, and everyone's talking about and what's crazy is Toyota, when they look at the electrification things, there's some other manufacturers out there that are all in on electrified, and that's the one thing I noticed at the auto show. I was like, man, all they're showcasing is electrification. But it was wild because these are some mainstream, manufacturers, and I looked at Toyota. I was like, wait a second. Toyota invented electrification. And when you go look at their product lineup and you look what's there, it's like, no, we have it all. It's just, why are we throwing something down somebody's throat or an organ? Why are we're there for people who want it, but the masses aren't ready for it yet. Well, the masses might be ready for it, but our infrastructure's not ready for it, or whatever it might be. You may not just have the ability to do it, but they're expensive too.
Yeah.
I mean, how many people can buy $65,000 sedans? It's not really fair to just everybody else who wants to have a cool car, wants to be, and Toyota's wildly fuel efficient on top of that. So it's not like but I think the electrification thing is really unique in the fact that Toyota's there, they're ready, they have everything going. It's just a matter of they'll show up when everyone's ready for them to, when everyone needs it. When they need to be there, we'll do it. Yeah. That kind of thing. So it'll be good.
I like just listening to you coming from the auto show, and something that really just stuck out, something for everyone. And I think as a manufacturer, when you think about, man, I want to address everyone in that, and you see that in the way products are launched for Toyota and what's available. I think about this Grand Highlander, and I'm thinking, man, how smart do you have to be to say, okay, I know that there's something there for someone and someone needs it. You know, not everybody wants to go to the Sequoia and things like that. So you come out with this Grand Highlander, and man, when the first time I saw this thing, I'm just gonna tell you, I thought they were just gonna take a Highlander and make it big. You know, the fact that they said, man, we're really going to pay attention, and just the little things, the moving the USBs. And I know it seems crazy, but to move a USB all the way back to the third row, give you a little more space, give you a little more headroom. Guys like me, it's like all about the headroom. But I'm always amazed by Toyota when they come out with something. It makes sense.
The only thing that I took pictures of at the auto show this year is the rear space on the Grand Highlander. You can put. I did. I didn't take a bunch. I usually take all these pictures and go. And I was like, as I realized, went through my phone. I was like, I only took pictures of the Grand Highlander, and the only thing I took pictures of the Grand Highlander was the interior space behind the third row. It's like, we can put suitcases back there now.
Yeah, which is a big thing.
I mean, tell you what. So, like, if you want to travel, I would say suitcases, duffel bags. You know, whether it be your kids' hockey gear or football gear or soccer gear, whatever. I mean, you just have space to put things and pile people in. And that really is the Grand Highlander is going to be spectacular. And the new color, the blue, I don't know what they call the blue, but they highlighted this.
I've seen it.
The dark blue, gray. I mean, my daughters were like, that's a great color, Dad. And I was saying, it is a cool color. I mean, I thought it was cool, and my 20-year-old daughter thought it was cool. I was like, all right, so we're hitting somewhere there.
Something for everybody. Something for everybody. That's kind of the key. So we have conversations with about you and your dad a lot of times just on our podcast just about different things, and you both have been in the Toyota world for a long time. So I'm going to put you in a corner here. I'm gonna put the spotlight on you just a little bit.
We can edit this, right?
Just take out all the stuff you don't want me to say.
Can you plug this in?
No, we don't. We
I just want to make sure it sounds good.
See, this is what happens on our podcast. We don't
Exactly.
we don't edit anything, so everything is like live in
Tron
person.
complains.
It's just live and in person.
It gets cold over there, man. There's no heat.
So here's a cool thing. So I've been in the car business for over 20 years. So it's been a long time, and I always tell myself I'm in this business because I enjoy the cars. I enjoy as things move. It really really excites me. But I think through those 20 years, you come across one vehicle where you're like, man, that was the one, right? I mean, that car changed the way I thought about the car business, and I love it. And I hope they always keep that feeling, right? What car is that for you?
Well, it's kind of crazy because you go through different stages of life too, right?
Yeah.
So I'm
We get old.
Yeah. I remember the initial stage of life. I was like, man, when Toyota was one of the first organizations or the first car companies to go back to their roots when they brought the FJ Cruiser out and went retro, right? And there's like, and I know that vehicle is not for everybody by any stretch of the imagination, but if you look at it now, you're like, man, they didn't make enough of them. You know, people really want it. And then when when it went away, I was like, man. But they're still so involved with 4Runner and their Land Cruiser, Sequoia. They're trying to, but the roots of their sport utility heritage when they brought, that's what started Toyota was the Land Cruiser. So I was like, okay, they've always been really good about that, and now they'll stay. I mean, we're coming back to there. It's a good thing that. But now let's fast forward a little bit, and you become an empty nester. And you're like, okay, I want kind of a fun car. I've always had these utility vehicles that I needed for kids and families and lifestyles and stuff like that. But it's like, okay, if I'm going to buy a toy, what am I going to do? Well, there's a lot of guys looking for all these crazy different things, but not many people can buy crazy, right? I mean, it's just such a small segment. I mean, I can't buy crazy, but I look at this GR world that we're starting to live in. I'm like, 3-cylinder, 300 horsepower. I'm like, the 18-year-old college kids can't get enough of it. And the first one we sold is a professional who is a car guy who's had Shelbys and Mustangs. I mean, had Mustangs and Corvettes and all these crazy cars. And he's like, it's a daily driver. And I get a text message from regularly. It's like, that car is amazing. I just can't get over it. So manual transmissions, they're kind of committed to that. When we go full electric, everyone's got these they push a button, the car goes. It's like there's just a heritage of like we're shifting a car now. We're going back to driving a car a little bit. But it's really special so I think those are the two combinations. Now, let's go, if you ask Toyota what has transformed the world in the car business, well, they came out with the Camry, which transformed the car business, right? I mean, Camry sold more cars than any other car in America for lots of years. So then everyone kind of makes the shift to they're going away from sedans. Now, Toyota would never leave sedan because they know that's what brought them to the game, that Camry, right? But on top of that, they show up with a RAV4 that's number one sport utility, number one car outside of the pickup truck is the number one car on the road. And you're like, it's crazy. They've done it twice now. They did it with cars. They did it with sport utilities. They know where it's at. Yeah. But when they do something, they don't have to abandon everything else. And if you notice at the car, another thing I noticed at the auto show was, if you're an organization, you either going all electric, all sport utility, or all sedan. And when you go all something, you leave something out.
100%.
You go to Genesis, you're like, dude, there's really not a sport utility involved. It's a great car. It's neat. And Hyundai's going with that, but you couldn't get a sport utility, which, again, but everyone else is leaving sedan, so they feel like there's a good market for them.
Yeah.
Toyota didn't leave sedan. The Crown, that's probably the showstopper right now. They had a white and black Crown with the big hybrid Max engine in it, and it was white, had the black hood. And again, everyone walks in, it's the first thing you see kind of when you walk in the showroom, which is like, it's a showstopper. Like, it's a Toyota. It's a sedan, sport utility. I mean, it's a lift-up sedan. So just reintroducing things like that, I think there's a whole demographic there that we are going to hit really well with that Crown.
Man, how great of a manufacturer. We have tons of conversations about Toyota and who they are, and I've been in the Toyota world for 19 years. So it's like, man, to watch them evolve from the Prius that looked like, I don't know what that thing looked like, a little bug from Bug's Life, to the current Prius that's coming out. That is like, man, what is that? When you see that on the road. But it's really neat to be in the Toyota world and watch them kind of. But it always amazes me how much they pay attention to the consumer. And I think when you're talking about other manufacturers, when it's like, man, I'm either all in here or here, Toyota does a really good job. If you really just pay attention to them, they pay attention to what the consumer is really calling for. Yeah. The Crown, man. You think of, I had a repeat customer in the other day. We were talking Avalon. They've bought 5 Avalons from me, and they're so worried. I was like, it's the Crown, baby. Don't worry about it. It's Toyota. They're paying attention. So I think that's the exciting thing, the Crown. I think the RAV4, we can talk about RAV4 for days and how special that vehicle is and what Toyota does. But I'm excited, man. I'm excited about the future. I think, to work for the best manufacturer. And I don't knock any manufacturers out there. Right. You guys know me. I'm always saying everybody makes a good car. Some people just make them better, and that's where Toyota comes in. Yeah. So it's an awesome thing. And, since I have you here, I mean, I think it's just it's probably great to say, hey, we have to thank Wilson Toyota for being our sponsor. I mean, that's without the you and your dad and the place and the content, we could never do this. So it's always awesome. And man, you can join me whenever you want. I mean, I got no problem.
Thanks for taking the time to do it. I know this doesn't happen without preparation and time and stuff. So thanks for how you represent and supporting Toyota and all that we do with customers and experiences and things like that. And you guys are talking about it. And we're backing it up, hopefully, and everything that we do.
Well, we'll do this again. We'll get you. Hey, you came in here. You got all the.
I was just walking through here.
So. Hey, we appreciate it and all that great stuff.
You guys laugh way too much here. I don't see what you're doing.